We have Crystal Beast for you today, some more Yubel innovations. You gotta love seeing Raikka as well, and Scareclaw, along with some other challengers. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. You know, I am actually kind of happy to actually see some Crystal Beast in here. Now, this is quite interesting, though. We're doing Kyoto Waterfront here for the ability to toggle for a kaiju, which would give us access to Gamma Seal in here, which, you know, basically what we're doing here is just kind of free load-up value to kind of punish the opponent. We've really gotten to this point that a deck like this can actually be able to put a kaiju on the field and I guess go. I don't see, you know, the typical plays that you would see in here with, like, maybe the ability to special summon it off of, you know, Saruja. Okay, that's definitely interesting. I also see that we are playing the Crystal Master in here, which this card sometimes is very interesting to see play. Also, you know, the fact that they actually gave this deck Pendulum Scales still amuses me so much. But you're doing original Crystal Beast plays in here. You have all of the original names present here. Double Ruby Carbuncle, your double Rainbow Dragon, of course, triple Pegasus. Pegasus is still pretty much one card combo go. We're still maximizing on the triple Golden Rule here. Remember, Golden Rule kind of ensures that you kind of get the little free necessities that you need. Also, we've kind of learned how stupid this card can be. Double Rainbow Dragon, of course, I see we're also playing a Necro Valley in here as well. Considering, you know, you kind of have all the free field spell manipulation that you could ever want off a Rainbow Bridge of Salvation, just kind of giving you the ability to kind of toggle through all the little different pathways that you could ever actually want for this deck. I actually think that's pretty cool. I also really wish we could have seen what the side deck had for this. This did make top 4 out of this event, so that's kind of something to consider out here as well. Like, you know, you did have a pretty decent finish overall, but you take what you can actually get out here in terms of your construction for this. So, very good metagame challenger here. Now, this is 55 cards for the plant deck. And I don't really think that's too necessarily bad. The biggest things you got to remember here is you now have so many plant engines that you got to stick together in a build. Like, you have the Aromage stuff up here. You have, you know, the Raikka good stuff. Now you've got the Raikka build in here. And to top things off, you've got the Sunseed, Loki, Sun Avalon cards that you also need to account for. So that's 4 engines that you need to be having this synergy with as this deck is kind of unfolding out here. And that's a big thing to really think about. You have to hit some of the best key notes in terms of your synergy for what this deck can do. And also, to be honest with you, like, the Raikka package, it's just Evil Seeds, and you have 1 copy of the Beetle in here. And then, of course, you have the ability to make the Skeletal Soldier because it is, you know, a Link 2 for the plant deck. So that's actually kind of something to think about in here. I mean, a free little Monster Reborn is always going to be pretty needed for Link climbing. And like I said, this is a 4-card splash package. You're not even doing any of the spells and traps for this. All right, most of, you know, the spells and trap dedication is going to be to the Sun Avalon side of things and the Raikka stuff because, you know, all the Raikka cards being able to work together in a deck like this. Absolutely honestly, I'm pretty freaking impressed with how this deck has managed to kind of evolve itself and incorporate even like the smallest packages into this. Like, it definitely shows that there are so many ideas that you can mess around with in the course of the meta out here. Like, genuinely, the plant good stuff pile might actually be a secret contender for the meta, as long as, you know, I guess people don't know how to really handle this, so I think we'll continue to see this do well. The Yubel piles. Now, the first thing I'm going to tell you about these Yubel piles, a lot of these kind of starting to look the same in my opinion, except for you'll have the occasional tech choice, and that occasional tech choice here is the Dragon Undertaker. Now, this is the TCG exclusive illusion monster. Has a standard illusion clause if this card battles, neither can be destroyed by battle. But during the main phase, if a monsters your opponent controls is sent to the graveyard, you can activate the following effect based where this card was at the time of activation. So if this card is in the hand, it gets to beam itself on out. And if it's on the field, you can make one effect monster your opponent controls lose 1,500 attack. Then if its attack becomes 0 by this effect, you can destroy it. So what you've got here is you have a 3,000 attack point monster that if your opponent sends something to the graveyard, or excuse me, if your monster, or yeah, your opponent controls goes to the graveyard, it gets to pop itself on out, and then you can only use each effect. So while this is also on the field, you can make this thing power down something by 1,500 that you might deem as a threat. This is, I think this is by far one of the more interesting inclusions of an actual hand trap that we've actually had in the course of the meta right now. Now down here in your extra deck, see, we're playing an Apollos. I see the Djinn Buster. Djinn Buster has been getting some pretty big hype as of late. This card has definitely been a interesting challenger, kind of step on into the meta. I see that we do have the Dimension Shifters kind of doing its thing. And of course, I'm glad to see Nibs are kind of still sticking around here. This deck is still full gas, super poly. You have the Eternal Favorites built into this as well. And of course, this is by far one of my favorite things in the whole wide world. Yubel actually sporting off some skill drains in here. Remember, the base level of this deck, we can float on into the Yubels and then start slamming your opponent for all that redirect damage that you want to see. We've really come full circle here. Next up here is Scareclaw with Blink Out, actually. So for those of you that don't know, Blink Out and target one Link monster on the field, return it to the extra deck, and you can watch summon one of the monsters from your graveyard that was sent there as link material. Just one, by the way. So what happens if we blink out a Tri-Heart and then we revive, I don't know, maybe a Reinhardt, and we just restart combo effectively on the next possible turn? This is actually kind of interesting. I will say, though, I have not seen a single Scareclaw deck anywhere trying out Blink Out. To me, this is a personal first. Also, keep in mind this is on a quick play spell. So if your opponent's trying to do some shenanigans, you can just go ahead and blink on out. And also, by the way, it's on the field. So if this is your opponent attempting to do something, you can also reverse blink out and punish them. So that's actually something kind of important too. You also do see the Black Goat Laughs down here actually seeing some value. We have learned that Black Goat Laughs against the Tempai Dragon matchup is some of the funniest crap that you can actually do. This card overall in the current game state might actually be one of the better trap cards that you can kind of have as a tech choice in this format. You know, specifically name dropping anything that you don't want to deal with in the course of the game right now is actually very, very strong. Outside of that, the Scareclaw deck has its own tech choices. I like to see that. We're still going to be playing the Fenrir's in here because you want to get as much maximum value as you can. You also do get the chance to see Gamma Seals kind of showing up down here as that little anti-meta choice. Being able to blink over an opponent's monster that's a threat is really good. I also think we're playing Chaos Archfiend, and of course, Chang Ying down here is more of our little stepping stones. And of course, we still have the double Visus of Shroud down here as well. Everything that you want to see kind of wrapped up in a nice little bundle for you here, all doing very, very well. And our last list here, it had to be a Runic stun deck, right? This ended up going 8-0 at its event, which is what I wanted to see. I wanted to see somebody out here coming up with something. And the first things that catch my eye here, Tuamano Wado, I agree with this, 100%. I love this card. We're only playing one copy Dimensional Fissure, which is fine. We're still sticking to the 1 day apiece. Double Desires is pretty much back on pace for what I wanted to see. You got to remember, you want this card to kind of be hitting your keynotes and going. I do see a lot of the rest of this is pretty standard, but there's no card scanner in here. I've come to personally love Card Scanner. I think Card Scanner's broken ability to be one of those cards that can just pull things out of nowhere has been pretty strong. And we will continue to see Card Scanner be a dominant force in a lot of these Runic decks. Also, only one Time-Tearing Morganite. I do kind of relate to this. Also, this card right here, this card is the nuts. Being able to just organism your opponent on some of the stupidest fields that they might be trying to set up, like this is kind of just free real estate for what you want to have. So overall, a lot of good challengers to the course of the meta, even though things on the top end of the game kind of looking like Snake Eyes that, Snake Eyes this. There are a lot of very strong moving pieces in the rest of the game. That's good, especially on the regional level down. You have so much diversity present, like it's actually kind of interesting just to see. So what do you guys think? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. And remember, just because you have a Snake Eyes player at locals does not mean they're not unbeatable. You guys have a good rest of your day, all right?
patrons. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.